We have all witnessed humans playing virtual games, but no one has ever seen living neurons learning or playing games on their own. However, with the latest technology, researchers have witnessed something unbelievable. The scientists at Cortical Labs have taught living neurons to play a famous arcade game, and we've been astonished to learn about it. The human brain is a wonderfully complex thing. It is too complex that we humans haven't been able to discover its wonders up to the maximum extent. According to a survey in 2013, around 65% of Americans believe that they only use 10% of their brain. Well, that might be true in some cases, but neurologists believe that it's just a myth. Barry Gordon, a neurologist in Scientific American, explained that the majority of components in our brain remain active at most times. This means we don't use just a tiny fraction of our brain. Well, I would like to ask you a question. Even if we use 100% of our brain, do you think we can beat artificial intelligence? Some of you might respond with a yes, while some would just say no. Artificial intelligence is better than humans in different aspects due to the high-speed execution of tasks, excellent operating ability, and 100% accuracy. AI-driven apps and robots are replacing humans in different aspects of life. But that's not it. You see, artificial intelligence might be more powerful than humans. However, at some points, the human brain can beat AI efficiently. A group of researchers just showed that our brain cells can learn to play Pong much faster as compared to an AI-driven program. Let's take a look at some interesting wonders that our brain can do. The exciting news was reported by the New Scientist. Apparently, it revolves around a group of researchers in Cortical Labs who used a bunch of neurons, which are brain cells, in a dish, or we can also call it a primitive version of the Matrix to be exact. These hundreds of living brain cells were placed in a dish that is claimed to be a virtual game world by the researchers of Cortical Labs. In the virtual game environment, the brain cells are taught to play a video game known as Pong. Here's a quick heads up if you don't know what kind of game Pong is. Basically, Pong is a table tennis themed arcade sports game. This game features two-dimensional graphics and was initially released in 1972. The game was officially developed by Atari Inc., and designed by Alan Alcorn. Now back to the main topic. The researchers often refer to the neurons as living in a matrix. Now you must be thinking about how these living brain cells were able to play and learn Pong. Well, in order to fully organize the learning and playing process, the researchers used pulses of electricity. Ultimately, by responding to these pulses of electricity, the brain cells learned Pong and improved their performance as well. Brett Cogan, the leading scientist of this research and the chief scientist officer of Cortical Labs, said, "We think that is fair to call them cyborg brains." We also revealed that there are a fair amount of scientific teams around the globe who have been trying to study the networks of brain cells and their neurons in dishes and other such environments by often growing them into brain-like organoids. However, this was the first time that mini brains have been found to perform goal-directed tasks. These neurons living in the matrix or living within the virtual game world started to move with the paddles, which allowed them to stop Pong's relentless bouncing ball from passing by them. Now, here comes the organization process for these neurons. The researchers team at Cortical Labs explained in detail that they have grown groups of human neurons into mini brains. Basically, they aren't using single brain cells only to initiate a goal-directed response. In fact, scientists have used the living brain cells to make grown groups and then referred them to as organoid mini-brains. The process used to create organoid mini-brains was also used by scientists to attach Neanderthal brain cells to the crab robots. After creating organoid mini-brains, the researchers placed them on microelectrode interfaces. With the help of these interfaces, the electrical pulse is delivered to the mini-brains. This mechanism is quite effective to convince the mini-brains that they are the paddles inside the game of single-player Pong. Now let's move towards the comparison of these organoid mini-brains with AI. Besides using living brain cells, they have also used artificial intelligence to evaluate the total time taken to learn what to do in the given situation of the game. As per Cortical Labs, they have explained that an artificial intelligence-based software would take about a total of 90 minutes in order to learn the instructions about how to perform according to the situation in the game. Now, 90 minutes is a long time, 1 hour and 30 minutes of course, and judging on the time taken by the AI, you might be wondering how long would it take for the mini-brains to do the same task? Maybe 2 hours? Or more? Well, let's find out. According to another report presented by Cortical Labs, it takes almost 5 minutes for the mini-brains to learn what to do in the given situation. Now that might seem pretty shocking to you. We were also shocked to see the time limit of mini-brains when comparing them with AI. Seems like the human brain is still more effective than AI. However, the artificial intelligence software can also become quite better at a task after learning it. The researchers at Cortical Labs hope to use studies like these in order to combine the living neurons with traditional computing. This new technology outcome will allow computing to solve problems in unknown or unfamiliar situations. Moreover, this advancement could also be used to solve autonomous robotics problems. So that wraps up the human brain cells and artificial intelligence comparison when it comes to learning Pong. Meanwhile, if you like to keep yourself updated with the latest happenings in the world of tech, then consider subscribing to High Tech Teens for more such stuff. Also, make sure to click on the bell icon to get notified of the latest video updates.